Hi everyone, this is Amanda Pratt with Imagine Life Therapy, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker and therapist and life coach, and my practice is centered around supporting people who live with a chronic health condition of some sort, to help them process everything that they go through and experience having a chronic illness or health condition. So I'm here today in my office. I'm just finishing up my day of clients, but I just published a blog post this week about New Year's resolutions and goal setting. So I just want to kind of review and give a little video snippet of the major points that I make in that blog post, and I also want to talk a little bit about my Stress Less course that's going to be coming up that I'm working on. I'm very excited about it. So for the blog post, one of the things that came up when writing that post is, kind of all this talk about New Year's resolutions. I think it's interesting how we approach New Year's resolutions, and I think that this time of year is kind of very focused on the resolution part of things, and a resolution really is just a decision that we make to commit to something. We resolve to do a certain thing, but a lot of times what ends up happening is that we say, okay, I'm going to do this thing, and then we name a very general statement like, I'm going to lose weight this year. And research actually shows that only 8 to 12% of resolutions are actually achieved or accomplished. And I think the reason behind that is because number one, it's general, it's too general. Number two, we say something we want to do for the entire year, which is a huge chunk of time. And number three, we kind of resolve that we're going to do it, and we might make a commitment that we want to do it, and kind of admit to people that this is something that we're interested in, but we don't actually then move forward with taking the next steps to break it down, to set a goal, to create a plan. And that's really where the success comes in with any goal that we set. So my kind of top three tips for actually accomplishing a resolution involves filling in those parts, those gaps of the resolution process that we tend to do. So number one is finding your why. So number one, behind any goal we have, anything that we say we want to do, we have to have some sort of importance or meaning around it. If I have someone come to me and say, there's this task I have to do, but I just keep not doing it, or I can't get started doing it, the first thing I always ask is, well, why are you doing it? Why is it important to you? What is the meaning behind that thing? Why is it something you feel you need to do? And usually things that, if you look at your task list, things that you don't really care about that much or don't have, if you do this thing, then this awesome thing happens, or you feel this intrinsic feel-good feeling by doing it. If we don't have something like that, then we're not going to be as motivated to do it. But finding your why is something you can do on purpose. So with any goal or resolution you have, if it's losing weight or exercising more or doing more for your mental health or getting more self-care, whatever it is, it's really good to sit down and put a lot of time into finding your why and creating meaning around that goal. So what I recommend is first doing a visualization. So you can sit and think about, okay, this goal that I have. If I decide I want to exercise more, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to imagine that I'm exercising every day, that my goal has been met. Whatever the reason is I'm exercising, maybe it's to lose weight, maybe it's to be stronger and feel stronger. I'm going to imagine what that will look like. Just imagine that there's no barriers, you've reached all your goals, it came very easily to you, you feel strong, you are strong, this is how it looks, this is how it feels, and just imagine that through and through. And then what you want to do is, after that visualization, you want to write down everything that you saw in that visualization. what did you do to get there? What did that goal look like? How did it feel? You know, how long did it take you, and what types of things did you do to get there? You know, answer all these questions, as much detail as you can about this visualization. That is going to give you your why. So whenever you hit a roadblock in trying to accomplish your goal and you stop, you can go back to that and be like, okay, I'm reminding myself now I'm doing it because this is the visualization I have for myself. This is where I want to be. That's your why. That's your importance and meaning behind your goal, and it's important to have that. So that's number one. Number two is you're then going to get specific about your goal. So if you have a goal to say, you know, run a marathon, you don't just start out running a marathon, right? You have to break it up into manageable chunks that are eventually going to lead you to that bigger goal. So we have to get specific, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard of SMART goals. So SMART is S-M-A-R-T. Whenever you're setting a goal, make sure it's specific. Measurable is the M. A is achievable, so you want to make sure it's something that you can actually achieve. R is realistic, and T is timely. So you always want to have a time frame around your goal. So if you want to run a marathon, when is the marathon? Okay, I need to make sure that by this date I can run a marathon. Then you break it up into smaller chunks. So in order to get there, I'm going to need to do this. So I'm gonna run for an hour each day between the times of 9 and 10 a.m. And then I'm gonna, you know, maybe at a certain date you bump that up to 2 hours a day because you can do more. So you really want to break it up into chunks and be very specific and make sure that it's reasonable and something that you can actually do. That is very important. So then after you found your why, you know why you're doing it, and you have meaning and importance behind it, then number two, you get specific. Make sure it's something you can measure, something you can look back and say, did I do this? Yes, I did it. And you did your SMART goals. Number three, this is the other really important thing I think a lot of people leave out, is you want to monitor your progress. I think this is why Weight Watchers works so well for so many people, because you have someone there who's monitoring your progress. You go in, you weigh in, you always know how you're doing. And that's really important. But I think the other part of the monitoring your progress that I also mentioned in my blog is that it's really important to tell other people, to find a tribe that also has that goal in mind, because then you have the accountability piece, which then makes you more likely to monitor your progress because you have someone to tell. A lot of times if we don't have someone to tell, we aren't as motivated to monitor our progress. So sometimes it's just like telling your significant other, hey, I ran for an hour today and now I can run a mile in, 8 minutes. My goal is 6 minutes. And you're telling that person, so you're monitoring your progress. Maybe you write it down in a journal. And that's really important. I think that we forget that. But joining a group also then gives you a sense of camaraderie. You build supports. You have a support system around that goal. And I think that no matter what you're doing, a support system is always important. So those are my top three. Finding your why, which includes creating meaning by doing a visualization and then writing down. The writing part is really important. Number two, getting specific. The other thing I forgot to mention with the getting specific is a lot of times we'll say we have 20 goals that we want to accomplish for the year, and a year is such a huge amount of time. We want to break it down into smaller chunks of time and maybe pick like your top 3 goals. If we're overwhelmed and have too many things that we want to do, that can lead to just not doing anything or not starting. I know I get that way sometimes. If I have too much going on, I just stop, you kind of freeze. So make sure that you're kind of picking your top 3, you're prioritizing, it's manageable and achievable. That fits into the SMART template too. So then you've got number 3, monitor your progress, tell others, join a group, have accountability. I think if you really stick with those 3 things, anytime you set a resolution and you have your goals specific, you know why you're doing it, you're passionate about it, you have accountability, you have a plan, you're going to be more likely to achieve that goal. So I think that's really important when we're thinking of New Year's resolutions, and now is a great time and opportunity to set some new goals. So don't be afraid of it. And the other thing I want to talk about too that goes along with all this is my upcoming online course that I'm still working on, but I'm hoping to be launching it February or March, and it's called Stress Less. So the whole course, it's a 6-week course, and you can take it from anywhere in the country, from your living room. You can do it at your own pace. This is going to be a stress management course. I think it's important because I would say 100% of the people that I work with, stress is something that's really important. I think it's important preventatively, health-wise. I think it's important for emotional and mental stress and distress that we experience. It's just important for everything. So this is why I'm starting and kicking off my online courses with this specific program. I think it's going to help a lot of people. So what it goes over, it's a 6-week course. At the beginning of the course, members of the course are going to be measuring their stress level and where they think they're at and taking a baseline. So you're going to be getting data, knowing where you're at, and knowing exactly how the course has helped you. I think that's important. So you're going to be measuring your baseline, and then throughout the course, we're going to be talking about what is stress. What are the different types of stress? Because I don't think people really realize all the different types of stress we can experience. So I'm going to be going over all of that in detail. What does stress do to us? What are the negative effects? Stress can be good and bad. I'm going to be going over that. What are the red flags to look for? How do I know when I'm stressed? That's important. Then we're going to be going over, once you learn everything about it and can understand it better, we're going to be going over stress management, why that's important and how it can help you. We're going to be going over relaxation strategies. So I'm going to be giving you specific tools that you can use anytime, anywhere. You will always have them. No one can ever take them away from you. They're going to be tools you can pull out whenever you need them for a lot of different things. We're going to be going over problem-solving techniques, things that I teach people all the time that I use every day. We're going to be talking about how to recognize and handle and manage thoughts that are, how to recognize helpful versus unhelpful thoughts, how to spot them and how to reverse them so that they don't kind of take over and put you in a thought spiral, I like to call it. So we're going to be going over all the thought stuff. I'm going to be going over ways to be a good friend to yourself, is what I say. And that's something that I'm a big advocate of, is self-care and being nice to yourself, because we're really hard on ourselves. So that class is 6 weeks. One of the things, it's going to be self-directed, so you can take it and view the videos and use all of the tools, the PDFs. There's going to be tons of visuals, a lot of different learning tools that are going to be included in there, and you can certainly do it at your own pace. But I also, as a bonus, offer a course organization guide, so it'll help you start out being organized so you can be successful in the course. Because I know sometimes you might start a course, get a week into it, and then kind of fall off. So I give you tools at the beginning to help you stay organized and stay on track. So that's something that I provide as well. And then the other thing that's really great is when you join the course, you're going to be put into a Facebook group that is that group of course members. So you can post stuff on there. You can get feedback from other members and start to build a sense of community around maybe things that you might have going on in your life. And then once a week, I'm going to check in with everybody. And if you have any questions about using any of the tools or worksheets or any of the lessons that are not quite sticking, I'll be there once a week to answer questions and help get you back on the right track. So Charles, hey, I don't have a link yet for the course, but I do have a link that I'm going to drop in that you can sign up for an email for when it gets launched. So it's kind of like the pre-launch group. And you might get a special discount for being in that email list as well. So hint, hint there. But I'm going to drop that link below. You can sign up, you get added to the email list, and then when I launch it, you get to know about it first. So that's the other bonus. And there's only going to be a limited number of spaces in each group, and then I'm going to close it, and that way I can focus on that group and give them lots of really great attention. So when that happens, you want to get in, and then if not, you'll have to wait until the next round comes up and the next group opens. So if you have any questions about it or are curious about it, just let me know and shoot me a message, and I'm happy to answer. And I'm also happy to send an outline if you're curious about what else is going to be in the course specifically, and I'll have all that stuff viewable and up on my site pretty soon. So thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a great weekend. All right, bye guys.